Wow, it is hot. Listen, if it looks like I'm sweating, that's because I am. I'm too cheap to get air conditioning in my studio. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Speak Live. I'm in New Jersey, and Magnus is in California. And guess what? New Jersey's got like 100 right now, as this is being recorded, but it's about 90 degrees, and it's 10 p.m. at night or whatever it is, 9:30 at night. It is hot, and in Cali, it's not that hot, but in New Jersey,
No,
I
we
always
we
say,
I would say we're probably right now around 80 or so.
yeah,
It did not get as warm. It definitely have gotten cooler the last week or so. Um, Before that we had like 100-degree weather. Now it's
yeah.
it's cooling down. So it's actually nice weather out.
I always tell people if you can live in New Jersey, you can live anywhere because we get sub-zero, we get above 100. So like if
Yep.
you live in New Jersey, you can go anywhere. But anyways, speaking of which, so three topics. Number one, in New Jersey tomorrow they're giving children a half a day off because it's too hot. That's the not really a topic, but the second or the real first topic would be we're going to discuss my physical results. I had my physical 2 days ago, and I'm always preaching get your physical, everybody. So we're going to be talking about my results, and I got them right here. All right, so and then third one, if you're starting to work out again or diet, I don't want to say the D word, but whatever, diet again. What advice would we give somebody, particularly you, Magnus, as being a
Yep.
nutritionist and trainer? What advice would we give them? Okay, so tomorrow, the Kitty Poos in New Jersey get to go home around 12 o'clock. And part of me was like, come on. I was turning into an old man. I was like, when I was a kid, we didn't get that. But then I was like, you know what? They don't have air conditioning in a lot of schools here in New Jersey, so I could see it being a good thing to do. I mean, I know it's a little bit quote unquote soft, but I
But
don't know.
it's the same thing. Like since I also work with students, and
You're a
like
teacher.
I can only imagine having 30, 35 kids, even more, like
Sweltering.
locked up in. And it just gets warmer and warmer throughout the day, and
Right.
the air is gonna
And
be
they're not going to pay
stale.
attention. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the efficiency of what you're able to actually teach them drops basically down to zero. They
Of
might
course.
actually start forgetting things instead.
Right.
So I definitely understand that. But it's the same thing. Like in when I like looked at TV or like a movie growing up, and people in the States we have a snow day, like we're not going to school. But I'm like, well, from Sweden, you're
Yeah.
used to like it snows.
Right.
You're like
Right.
what? A
Yeah,
snow day?
even when I was a kid, snow days only really got called if it was really bad, like 2 feet of snow. If it was just
Yeah.
like an inch of snow, there was no snow days. Today, forget it, 1 millimeter of snow, and they're calling off school. But I guess you can make the argument. What do you want to do? Go back to caveman days? Like, how about no television, no air conditioning, no cars, just walk 30 miles? I mean, so technology evolves and policies evolve, and whatever. It's not a bad thing. But anyway, I don't know. I think it's okay, fine. But Magnus,
I think definitely it's okay. If they're able to have a snow day, when it's too cold or too much snow, why wouldn't they be having a heat day? Could you only imagine like the kids getting dehydrated and cramping up, or like, yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with that. Like
yeah.
get them home early instead.
Yeah, I think a little bit of it too is people are afraid to get sued. The schools don't want to get sued because a part of me, I'm happy that they're having a half a day, but the other part of me is like, how about build some moxie, build some toughness? I mean, no one's saying throw you into lava, but I mean, okay, it's hot. Don't have a half day. Just have the kids maybe stay in school, but maybe modify the teaching. Don't maybe teach a full, lesson, or maybe go outside more. I don't know.
Oh,
I feel like
I know exactly what I would do as a teacher. I would like get like, since I work with science, I would like, Bill Nye the Science Guy, get them to watch that, or
right,
something else. Like
right,
just have them kind of chill out, and then
right.
like, yeah, like
Because like I
they
said, like
might pick up something, hopefully, and at least they're like you're trying to kind of you kind of police them, not like start fighting with one another. That's basically what it comes down to.
yeah, yeah. All right, so let's talk about the health then. Moving on to the next topic, my health. So I had my physical, yearly physical 2 days ago, and I was like, hey, you know what? I mean, guys, listening out there, you got to get your physical. I was a little nervous because you don't want to hear any bad news, right? So nobody does, neither do I. But yeah, everything came back fine. I guess the stick up my ass is I don't have high cholesterol really, but it's like I think over 200 is high. I'm like at 200 or 201, but you know the
Can,
more.
can I ask you something straight off?
Go ahead, go ahead,
How
go ahead.
how so over the years have you had kind of the same number with your cholesterol?
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
has it been around 200? Okay.
Yeah.
Next question I have for that. Do you feel bad?
Bad about what?
No, like do you feel like you have like an issue with your basically your blood flowing like
No,
that you have
no,
so
no.
so that's what I'm trying to point out is that
I'm bulletproof, and I feel bulletproof. By the way, to your point, because I'm a worrywart, I've had multiple heart examinations, scans, calcium scores, stress tests over the
yeah,
years because for no reason I'm a head case. But yeah, my heart and
nothing
everything.
wrong with that.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean, like my blood pressure is perfect, everything perfect. Like so. Yeah, no, this high cholesterol, and in my opinion, it's not high. High, I almost think. I'm sorry, Magnus. You were saying I don't want to cut you off, but go ahead.
No, like I'm you pointing. I think you're pointing out like we need to understand that there's also some type of diversity when it comes to cholesterol. If I'm saying the same thing, if it's stable and if it's basically been the same way for a long time that you have on the high end,
Yeah,
and you're not feeling like, oh, like my health is starting to deteriorate. I feel like I'm starting to feel like make a difference, and it's going to like getting but like worse or
right.
like bad.
No,
Like really, I mean, yeah, then you're gonna have the doctor saying, oh, you need cholesterol meds. But like, well, I don't feel bad, and I have had this for like it's not moving. So I'm like, what?
right.
Like, why would you? Like,
Well,
there's actually not much like you should be doing. You should just continue like you're doing,
right.
knowing what you're eating, moving, taking care of your health like you do, and just see. I mean, if it changes, it changes.
Yeah,
If it's starting to spike, then we're starting to have an issue.
right.
But when it's basically like the same, I'm like, again, I'm not giving anybody a medical advice or anything like that. But
Right.
this is just like looking at the data, like statistics, basically. It's not even about a health thing. It's basically just looking chemistry. What are the concentrations? Okay, boom, boom, boom. Do we see a change? No massive change. You're not feeling bad. Okay, like there's obviously not like it shouldn't be that much that the doctors want to start digging like and starting to manipulate too much about.
Right. Well, it depends on the doctor you go to, but yes, to your point. And when people say high cholesterol or even low cholesterol, the cholesterol standards for American medicine is a what you call it. It is a one size fits all standard, which is not good because every human body is different.
Mm-hmm.
My body might have a higher number total. Mine was like 201 or something like that. But that for my body, I might have amazing arteries and veins and heart health. You have to look at the whole picture. Now,
Yep.
obviously, if your cholesterol's 700, duh. But I mean, like, yeah, there's I think a lot of wiggle room in that. What is borderline, low or high, and you have to look at the whole patient also.
Yes.
So, for instance, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I am not overweight, I am not obese. I pass all my heart exams, so I eat well. I know. So looking at that, and also I have had heart exams before, and they came back spectacular. So for me, maybe being a total cholesterol of 200 and change is not an issue. But if you are someone who's obese, you drink, you smoke, you eat
definitely
crap, then that 200 might be an issue.
Yep.
Now, also, real quick, we're not giving any medical advice. Always check out healthcare professionals, just two friends talking. But the other thing I would say is, I guess because I'm, I like competition. I like competing against myself, trying to beat my numbers from last time. So the other thing, I guess, which is important is triglyceride, LDL, HDL, and then within LDL, the large particle or small particle. Now we're really getting into the weeds here. But so my point is, yeah, you can't just go by total number. You really got to look at the breakdown. And even the breakdown, you could have someone with a high LDL. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It depends on the type of LDL. And it depends, again, do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you exercise? Do you not exercise? What do you eat? What do you don't eat? Do you get proper sleep? So all these things. Anyways, so that was really my own little private I want to do outdo my best. It's just my own little competition within myself. It's not that there's no red flags per se. There's no red flags, but I was just like, oh shit, I want to get my whatever, my total down a little lower. But like I said, I know that it's not a big deal. Other than that, like my white blood cells, the proteins. Actually, it's cool, ladies and gentlemen, guys that are probably 45 and up. You got to get your prostate exam, and nowadays, you don't have to get the finger up there. So they just do the PSA, I believe it PSA test. So my PSA for my prostate is fine. So yeah, it's a simple test. Everyone get your blood taken, go to the doctor. And anyways, that's it. So Magnus, do you get a physical every year?
Yeah, I try to. I mean, it's been a couple of years since I did it, but I should probably get back to it. And I'm like you. I mean, it's better to do it often, like every 6 to 12 months, than go longer than that. And also not being afraid about it. It's better that if they catch something, that they catch it early rather than late.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, it's just you just going, like, most of it is basically, like you're saying, it's basically just taking a couple of blood tests that they do everything. It's not complicated. Yes, I know, like, people might be afraid of needles and so on. You just look away and like, it's quick. I mean, like, I think that getting stung by a wasp or anything like that is way worse. 100%. Yeah, way worse than actually getting some blood samples.
Yeah, the needles are very thin. I donate blood 4 times a year, and the needle size, the gauge size on donating blood is a fucking hose compared to the needle they use.
Yep.
To just do a blood sample, which is not even like a prick. So, but I get it. Everyone's scared. You don't want to hear something bad. But guys, get it done. Especially us men. Don't be a sissy. You got family. You got a wife or a partner. You come on. Like.
But
stop.
It's not even that. It's like actually taking care of yourself, and like again, staying on point on action, and also like I think that a lot of people are afraid because it might be a wake-up call, and they didn't know.
Of course, they don't want the bad news.
No, they know what they're doing, that their lifestyle is not sustainable, and they have to start doing changes. And of course, like, change in the unknown are always going to be scary.
Of course.
But like, sometimes you just have to kind of jump into the deep end of the pool and get it done.
Girl up, baby. Yeah. Okay, so Magnus, let's talk about this next thing. So what would you say to people? You're a trainer and a nutritionist. I have some friends that they're looking to get back into health. I wouldn't say shape, but they're looking to, better themselves, and that's great. But they're really, really not in. They're far, far, far away from like decent shape. Yeah. And so, what would you tell someone who maybe clinically obese, loves their junk food, and they're starting out? What advice would you give them? Because some of these people, it's going to be a very big mountain to climb. So what would you say? What would be one bit of advice you would tell that man or woman?
So first off, the most important thing is, like, congratulations, you're actually doing something. You're not just waiting. You actually like determined, and actually you want to make a change. So that is key to start out, that you actually, like, you truly want to make a change, right? The next thing is, like, start slow. Do not compare yourself what you were able to do, what someone else is doing, or things like that. You did not gain whatever weight you're carrying right now overnight. Neither are you going to lose it overnight. So all these, like, extreme diets, things like that, not a good thing. Lose it fast, gain it fast back. It's usually something that we talk about. So just go slow and do small changes, because trying to go in and completely overhaul every single aspect of your life, like training, sleep, stress levels, food, stop drinking alcohol, taking different, like, less medicines or other medicines, like, it's gonna be too much. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, you kind of have to shave down the elephant in small pieces to kind of, like, move on. Like,
analogy.
So you do it slow, and then constantly stack, like, wins. Like, try to stack wins every little day. Like, it's like, it could be the smallest thing. Okay, I walked 5,000 steps instead of 3,000
Right.
steps.
Right.
I drank my 80 ounces of water instead of 40 ounces of water, or actually no water at all. I did not drink coffee after 12 o'clock noon. So
Yeah, little things.
so you're not full of caffeine and things
Yeah.
like that. I went to bed 15 minutes earlier
Right.
than I usually do.
Or
All
5
these-
minutes, whatever. Right.
Yes, all these small things will add up.
See, but
at
I
the
think a
end.
lot of people don't want to do that because we live in a society. We want results now. I want in 2 weeks, I want to be amazing. And this is why I think some people resort to the gastric bypass or, or the sleeve, they call it, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
you still have to address your lifestyle.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. You have to start addressing your lifestyle, and you have to start making changes. If everything was so perfect, and with your lifestyle that you think it's so great, why are you in this situation you're at right now? Then you see my point. Like it has led you into basically a pathway that is not sustainable, and sooner or later you're going to start having to pay the price for it with your health, that you're not like your aches are joint your joints are aching, that you're not able to move, that you have to take 30 different types of medicines and so on, and like you have starting to have organ failures and things like that, that you might not like. It could be also things like you're trying to have children, and you can't have children because you might be too overweight or too underweight, things like that. There's always gonna be a price to pay, but the price that you're paying of not eating like junk food or drinking every single day and so on, and actually going to bed earlier, things like that, is that you actually start feeling better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to start feeling like, oh, but it's boring. Yeah, but like, again, I'm not saying that you have to go completely like stop doing certain things. I like fast food. I eat fast food once in a while. I don't eat it that often, but I can have it sometimes.
Right.
It's like you unless you're trying to go to the Olympics, be a professional athlete or something extreme, you don't have to make a complete sacrifice. You have to do some sacrifices,
Of course.
but it's the same thing. Like where you are at, where you always joke around about it. Like, oh, when you're just using the barbell when you're doing certain exercises, that's perfect. That's how you start.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Like at least you're doing it.
Go slow. Don't do cold turkey.
Yeah. No, and it's the same thing. Like, and here's another thing. I really want to bring up, because I see this way too often. So, for instance, people get back, okay, they think that, okay, running is a perfect way of losing weight. Okay, so you go in, you dust off your old joggers that you haven't been running in for like 10 years, right? And then you're going to start, I'm going to start out running, things like that.
Walk.
And yeah, and you start feeling horrendous because number one, if you haven't been running for a couple of years, and it doesn't have to be that many years, your technique is going to be completely off. You don't have the right coordination to do it. It's easy to get injured. It's easy to use the wrong technique. So you get like basically you start feeling uneven. You're using your muscles incorrect. You're missing the balance and things like that. So you're better off, like you said, go buy a pair of new walking shoes and start walking.
Yeah.
Like start with that. Then you might start jogging, like get a pair of running shoes and then maybe jog for, I would say, half a mile.
Yeah. Crawl
like,
before you walk, and then
and then you slowly process it. You might need to hire a coach to actually go back to.
I always say, get a trainer, get a dietitian or nutritionist. Absolutely, accountability matters.
Get someone that knows how, like, can teach you the correct way of running, or if it's swimming or biking or whatever it is. Don't just accept because it's like, oh, I used to do it, or it's that it's just training. Everybody knows how to run a bike or run. It's not true. Yeah. It's the same thing. Like when it comes to training, strength training, tennis, like running, you're practicing a skill. You're trying to become better at a specific skill. Treat it that way.
Yeah.
Don't just think like, oh, I'm go out and I just want to get sweaty. And no. Have specific goals. Have someone to train you. Have like reach.
And if they don't have the money, at least, like I said, start slow. Don't jump into it, but baby steps. That's I think what we take away from this.
Again, there's a lot of information out on the internet. The big part is here that you're trying to kind of know what is correct or what is just like bro science or whatever.
They can even contact you. 3 Crowns. I mean,
of course, that's what I do.
FaceTime.
That's what I do. I help a lot of people and do like online coaching and also in like face-to-face coaching and all that. So it's about like and also like having an understanding. It's the same thing. Like just reaching out to one coach might not be the best way. You should probably it's basically like you're hiring a new person to your team or to your company or whatnot. You should probably actually talk to a couple, 4 or 5, even more trainers, nutritionists, and things like that, and ask them like, how have you worked with someone like me before? What are you usually like? How do you line it up? What are your like framework, things like that? Of course, it's going to differ for each and every individual, but you need to find someone that understands you, are willing to listen, and also are willing to helping, because it comes down to it. We're talking about it. A lot of these things have to be very individualized.
Of course, everyone's an individual, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well said.
Yeah, a couple of things. How, again, coming back to that, how is your training going right now?
Good, my man. I hit the gym 4 days a week. I do cardio 7 days a week, because I'm doing tennis 7 days a week. I walk 7 days a week. I cycle 4 or 5 days a week. The gym, weights 4 days a week approximately. Eat right, sleep right. I meditate. I do yoga in the morning. So, I mean, I'm on top of this shit. And everyone is in their own journey. I'm trying to better myself in my own way, in my context, and people who are starting or people who are pro athlete, everyone's on their own journey. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm trying to better myself with competing against myself, and I think we all should do that. And how is your working out and your training? I know you're a beast, baby.
Yeah, no, it's like I'm starting to try to be a little bit more serious than I've been. I mean, it's been with a couple of changes with work and things like that. So like I actually have less free time to train, but that doesn't mean that I don't train. So yesterday, for instance, I was short on time. I'm like, I need to do something. I went out. Like, luckily, I actually have like I mentioned before, I have a gym in my garage. So I went out and trained for 15 minutes. And I'm so happy that I did, because I felt so much better and so content. Like afterwards, like I actually did something,
Good, man.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, I'm able to. So whenever I have a chance to squeeze something in, I'll go and train. I'm actually going to try to, I'm going to walk my dogs first, and then I'm going to try to hit the gyms really, really quick after that too. So probably about another 15-minute training session today.
Awesome. Do it, baby. Matter of fact, speaking of walking my dogs, I got to go walk my dog right now, actually. So
me too.
Because my dog is like looking at me in the studio. So I'm like, dude, this dog better not crap in my studio. But anyways, Magnus, always a pleasure, my man. And
thank you so much,
baby. Hey, don't forget, like, subscribe.
Exactly. That's what I was going to add too. Like, subscribe, get some other people to come into our show and listen to us and give us some feedback, guys.
Yep. We believe in you. You can do it, everybody. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm signing us off. It's hot in this studio. I lost 10 pounds already. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.